Hello, everyone. I am Alex.
And I am Mia.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is a special deep dive.
It is.
We're taking a different kind of deep dive today.
Yes. Usually we look at very complex research, big ideas. But today we are going deep into something foundational.
We're talking about essential English for beginners.
Exactly. Our mission is to learn essential English for going on a date.
Right. And we know this topic is so important for your social life, for meeting new people.
And for making friends. But we also know it can feel scary.
Oh, absolutely. We understand that learning a new language, especially when you have to speak it in a social situation, that can bring a lot of anxiety.
Many learners feel a real fear about speaking. They worry, about making a mistake or maybe not finding the right word quickly enough.
That's a major hurdle. It really is.
But we want you to overcome that fear. Our goal today is to focus on simple, functional language, the kind of language that builds your confidence.
Because you really do need to step out of your comfort zone to improve your English.
If you wait until you know every single grammar rule perfectly.
You'll never start speaking.
Exactly. So today we focus on what works, what is simple, and what is effective right now.
When you study English, you dedicate time to learning. Our sources say most of your time should be for input. So, reading, listening.
Understanding. But the final critical part, the part that makes all the difference, is the output.
Yeah.
Speaking.
We recommend dedicating about 20% of your study time to speaking.
Just 20%.
And that 20% dedicated to speaking, that's what makes the language come alive.
It moves the rules from the textbook into a real conversation.
And going on a date or even just asking someone for coffee is a perfect way to activate that language.
It is. It's a real-life scenario that demands you use your English immediately.
And that kind of practice builds your confidence so much faster than just repeating exercises in a classroom.
It really does.
So before we dive into the words, we do have a quick request.
Yes. If this deep dive helps you learn, please kindly share it. And maybe subscribe if you like what you hear.
Your support really helps us reach more learners who are looking for simple, helpful lessons.
Okay. Are you ready?
Let's start with the essential words you need to know.
We have selected 5 very common, simple words. These are all from the 1,000 most frequently used words in English.
So you absolutely need these for talking about dates and meeting people.
And remember our promise.
Yeah.
We will speak very, very slowly
Yes.
and clearly.
We'll say each word 2 times. Just listen carefully. Focus on the sound and the rhythm.
Okay. Word number 1 is date.
Date.
So what is a date? Well, a date is when you meet someone you like in a social setting.
It's a planned meeting, usually for fun or, romance.
For example, I have a date today.
Or another one. We went on a nice date last night.
Try this simple sentence with us. Date is fun.
Okay, listen and repeat with us. Date.
Now, very slowly. Diet.
Good. The second key word is meet. To meet means to come together with a person. It's essential for planning any social interaction.
You need to know when to meet and where to meet.
An example would be, we meet at a place.
Or, I meet my friend at the park.
So you'll notice that we use the word meet for the action of coming together. It's an action word, a verb.
Listen and repeat. Meet.
Now, very slowly, meet.
Our third word is all about the where part of the plan. So word number 3 is place.
Place.
A place is a specific location. It's where you go.
Right, and you might hear other common words for location like street or town or city.
But place is the most general word. And it's so useful, you can suggest a simple place like a cafe or a restaurant.
A park.
Exactly. For example, let's go to a new place.
Or, this place is very beautiful.
What kind of place do you like to meet in?
I usually like a quiet place.
I like a public place. A cafe is a very good place for a first date. It feels relaxed.
That's a good point.
Listen and repeat, everyone. Place.
No, very slowly.
Okay, word number 4 is talk. Talk.
Talk just means to speak to someone. On a date, talking is the main activity.
Yes. You want to talk to get to know the other person.
For example, we can talk about hobbies.
Or, I like to talk about movies.
It's really the purpose of the date. You meet at a place so you can talk.
Listen and repeat. Talk.
Now, very slowly, talk.
Okay, our final key concept is about how you feel. We're going to use 2 very important words to describe your feelings.
The first is happy.
And the second is excited.
Let's start with happy.
Happy is a simple, good feeling. It's how you feel when something good happens.
An example is, I am happy to meet you.
And excited. Well, excited means you have a strong positive feeling, like you're really looking forward to something.
Right. For example, I am excited for our date.
So you can hear that excited is a little bit stronger than happy.
But both are very, very useful words on a date.
Okay, listen and repeat the first feeling. Happy.
And now, very slowly, happy.
And the second feeling, excited.
Now, very slowly, excited.
So now that we have the words, let's talk for a moment about how to say them clearly. This is a simple but really important insight.
Pronunciation is key to being understandable.
We need to think about the stress and the intonation when we speak. Not just for one word, but across the whole sentence. English has a rhythm.
It really does.
Let's use two simple words from our common word list to practice. Beautiful and pretty.
Okay, listen to the stress in this word. Beautiful. Which part sounds the strongest to you?
The stress is on the first part, the first syllable, beautiful.
Listen again. Beautiful.
If you say it like beautiful, it sounds a bit wrong to a native speaker.
Okay, now the word pretty.
Pretty, where's the stress?
It's on the first syllable again, P-R-E-U.
Exactly. And this simple practice of using the correct stress helps people understand you much more easily, even if your accent is different.
That's such a good point. The correct rhythm is often more important than having perfect vowel sounds.
Practicing this helps your listener know which word in the sentence is the most important one.
All right, now we move from single words to simple sentences.
Yes. We need the basic sentence patterns to ask someone out and to make plans.
We're going to focus on 3 core structures.
First, how to ask a question. Second, how to make a suggestion. And third, how to express what you like.
Let's start with making plans. The invitation.
The easiest and most common way to ask someone to do something is by using the question helper. Do.
The basic structure for a simple question with an action verb is to put do right at the beginning of the sentence.
The phrase is, do you want to?
It's so functional and direct and friendly.
Let's try some examples using our common words.
Okay, example 1. Do you want to go to a movie?
Example 2. Do you want to eat food now?
And example 3. Do you want to talk about your job?
See how the word do comes first. It immediately signals that this is a question.
So the listener knows they need to give an answer. It's very clear.
Listen closely and practice this pattern.
Do you want to go?
Do you want to talk?
Do you want to meet?
Okay, so that's for asking a question. But what if you want to make a suggestion?
This is our second useful structure.
We use the phrase, let's go to.
It's a great, friendly way to suggest something.
Now, this is a contraction. It's actually short for let us.
But in conversation, you will almost always hear the short version, let's.
Right. And this phrase is very strong for suggesting a specific place or a specific activity.
You're suggesting a place. You're suggesting an action. It's very clear.
Example 1, let's go to the street now.
Example 2, let's go to the town square.
And example 3, let's go to that cafe and get coffee.
So why is it better for a beginner to use let's go to instead of something maybe more formal like shall we go to?
Oh, that is a great question. Shall we go? Is more formal and a little less common in everyday speech.
Right.
Let's go to is direct and very common.
Yeah.
Shows confidence and clarity, which is exactly what we want you to practice. It's functional English. Okay, so let's combine these ideas for our main purpose today. We need to ask the key question, the one that starts the whole conversation.
We have to ask the central question clearly and slowly. Do you want to go on a date?
Let's say this question slowly together. We want to speak clearly and emphasize the main words.
Do you want to go on a date?
Good. And if you want to be a little more polite or specific, you can add with me at the end.
Right. Do you want to go on a date with me? But the simple version is perfect.
Okay, so once the conversation is going, you need to tell the other person what you like.
For this, we use the simple, powerful structure. I like.
This expresses your preference for anything, food, music, and activity.
Example 1, I like the color blue.
Example 2, I like to read books.
And example 3, I like pizza very much.
Now this structure is also how you can express that you like a person. But when you talk about people, you often need to use something called object pronouns.
This is a small detail, but it's very important. You can't say, I like she. That's incorrect.
Right. So here's the simple rule. If you're talking about I, the object is me. If you talk about she, the object is her. If you talk about they, the object is them.
So if you like a person, you say, I like him. Or, I like her.
And if you like a group of people, you would say, I like them.
It's a small change, but it makes your sentence sound much more natural.
It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about feelings again. If you're nervous or excited, how do you say that?
We use the verb to be with an adjective. The pattern is always the same.
It's noun or pronoun plus be plus adjective.
And you must use the correct form of the verb to be. So, I am, you are, he is, she is.
We are, they are.
So if you were going on a date, listen and repeat these simple feeling checks with us.
I am nervous.
I am excited.
I'm happy.
These sentences are so clear and simple, and they're essential for social conversation.
Finally, we have to make our plans clear. This means using those tiny but very powerful words that describe time and place.
We're talking about prepositions. We need to choose the correct one: in, on, or at.
Okay, so for a specific time, like 7 p.m. or a specific meeting point, we generally use at.
Right. Example. Let's meet at 7 p.m. Or, meet me at the bus stop.
Now, for a large location, like a town or a city, a big area, we generally use in.
For example, we can meet in the town. Or, the date is in the city park.
And for specific streets or for days of the week, we often use on.
An example would be, the cafe is on Main Street. Or, we will meet on Friday.
So when you're making a plan, you put these simple parts together slowly.
Let's try one. Do you want to meet at 8 p.m. on Friday in the city?
Perfect. That combines all the simple structures we've learned so far.
And to sound a bit more fluent, even as a beginner, you should practice connecting two simple ideas.
This is a really critical step. It helps you move away from just using short, choppy sentences.
We use words called coordinate conjunctions to join two simple sentences.
These are words you already know, like and, but, or, and so.
Let's start with and. You use and to join similar ideas.
For example, I like food and I like music. They're both things you enjoy.
Or another one. We meet now and we talk later. Two actions, one after the other.
Okay, next is but. We use but to show a contrast or a difference between two ideas.
This is so useful for explaining feelings simply.
For example, I like coffee, but I like tea more.
Right, you like coffee, but you have a stronger preference for tea. It shows a contrast.
Okay, how about or?
Or gives a choice between two options. This is essential for planning a date.
For example, we can meet today or we can meet tomorrow.
It gives your date two simple choices. Very polite.
And finally, so. We use so to show a result.
An example. I was happy, so I smiled. The happiness was the cause, the smile was the result.
Using these simple conjunctions, and but, or so, is the first step to sounding more conversational.
It links your simple ideas together logically and smoothly.
Okay, now we are going to practice.
This is the most important part of our deep dive. We are going to perform short dialogues.
And remember, we are speaking slowly and clearly for you, the beginner listener. Our goal here is to activate the vocabulary and the structures we just learned.
We'll break down a key phrase after each scenario, focusing on how to use the language.
Okay, scenario A. This is about asking someone on a date. Right now.
The goal is to practice a simple invitation and get a clear answer. Let's begin.
Hello, I think you are very nice. My name is Alex.
Hello, Alex. That is very nice to hear. My name is Mia.
Mia, I like to talk about books. Do you like to read?
Yes, I like to read very much. It is my favorite thing.
That is happy news. Do you want to go for a coffee now? We can talk about books?
Yes, I want to go for a coffee. That sounds like a good place to meet.
Great. Let's go to the cafe on Main Street. It is close.
Perfect. I'm excited to meet you there.
Okay, that was a simple, clear exchange.
And it moved very quickly from a feeling to a plan.
The key structures we heard were, I think you are very nice.
And, of course, do you want to go for a coffee?
We used simple adjectives like nice and excited with the verb to be. You are nice. I am excited.
Remember, this is the easiest way to describe feelings or traits. And the phrase, do you want to go for a coffee, is very socially acceptable and direct in English-speaking cultures.
It shows interest, but it's not too formal or complicated. It's relaxed.
And it's important to know that in many English-speaking countries, a coffee invitation is considered a date, or at least, a relaxed pre-date meeting.
Yes, it's much less pressure than a big dinner reservation.
So if you want low pressure, ask to meet for coffee or a quick talk.
Okay, on to scenario B, planning the date.
Right. So the invitation was accepted, but now we have to agree on the time and the place.
This scenario will use our prepositions and our time vocabulary. The goal is to confirm the logistics clearly.
I had a happy time talking about books today, Mia.
I did too, Alex. It was nice to meet you.
Do you want to go on a date next week? Maybe a movie in the city.
I like that idea. A movie sounds fun.
Let's meet on Wednesday or Thursday. Which day is good for you?
Wednesday's not good, but Thursday is perfect.
Okay. How about at 7 p.m. on Thursday?
7 p.m. is good for me. Where should we meet before the movie?
Let's go to the cinema. I will meet you at the cinema entrance at 7 p.m.
Perfect. I am excited for Thursday. See you then.
Okay, that dialogue was a little longer, but it only used the simple phrases that we learned.
The key functional learning here was using or and but to make choices and handle scheduling.
Right. Notice that the first speaker asked, let's meet on Wednesday or Thursday.
Giving two choices is very common and very polite. It shows you're thinking about the other person's schedule.
And when she answered, she used but. Wednesday is not good, but Thursday is perfect.
This contrasts the two options so clearly and efficiently. No confusion.
Also, did you notice the careful use of prepositions?
Yes, we used in for the city, which is a large area.
And we used at for the specific time, 7 p.m., and for the specific meeting point, the cinema entrance.
These tiny words are so important. If you say, meet me in 7 p.m., it's confusing.
You have to use that for time.
This really shows that the complexity, even for beginners, isn't in the big words. It's in the small, functional words that create clear meaning.
So please, practice your prepositions.
Okay. Scenario C, before the date.
This one is so important because it addresses the emotional side of speaking English.
We're going to practice talking about feelings with a friend before the date. The goal is to use conjunctions, like be, but to describe contrasting feelings.
Hi, friend. I am going on a date now. I meet Mia at 7 p.m.
Oh, that is good. How do you feel about the date?
I am excited, but I'm also nervous. She is very nice.
Being nervous is normal. It is not a problem.
I worry. My English is not perfect. I worry I cannot talk well.
Your English is good. Just try to talk slowly. Do not worry about grammar.
I worry about the fast rate of speech. What if she talks very fast?
That is okay. If she talks fast, you can simply say, can you talk slowly?
That is a simple question. I like that. Thank you, friend. I will try to relax and just talk.
This dialogue is so common for learners. It recognizes that fear is a part of the process.
It is. And the core structure we analyze here is that compound sentence. I am excited, but I am also nervous.
The word but connects the positive feeling, excited, with the difficult feeling, nervous. This is how you share complex feelings in a simple way.
We also introduced a very powerful, simple request. Can you talk slowly?
Yes. This is a functional phrase you should keep in your pocket. It helps you overcome the problem of fast speech.
Our sources emphasize that being nervous is a normal part of life. We shouldn't wait until we're perfectly calm or perfectly fluent to try speaking.
The moment you talk, you start to gain confidence.
And that leads us perfectly into our final important point.
Listening.
Exactly. Practicing listening skills for a real interaction.
We have been speaking very slowly for you. But in real life, native English speakers often use a fast rate of speech.
And many English learners feel pressure when they're listening. They have problems with that fast speech and with unfamiliar vocabulary.
You feel like you don't have enough time to process the words before the next sentence starts.
So we want to introduce a simple technique to help with this. We call it listening in chunks.
This means you should focus on listening, not for every single word.
But for logical groups of words, think of them as breathing points in a sentence.
When people speak naturally, they pause to breathe. And these natural pauses usually separate one main idea from the next.
So effective listeners use the rhythm of the sentence, the stress and the intonation, to recognize the main ideas.
They don't stop and try to translate every single word in their head.
Imagine a long sentence like this. Do you want to go to the new cafe? Pause. And talk about your job. Pause. Or meet tomorrow.
If you miss the word new, it's okay.
It's okay. You still heard the important parts. Cafe, talk about job, meet tomorrow.
So the key insight is this. When you listen, focus on the main ideas and the overall rhythm of the sentence.
If you focus on that rhythm and the pauses, you train your ears to understand faster, more natural English. You're aiming for the main meaning, not 100% perfect understanding.
This approach helps you deal with that feeling of pressure and keeps you in the conversation.
Speaking practice and focused listening practice have to go together for you to get fluent faster.
Okay, we have reached the end of this deep dive.
We covered core vocabulary, essential structures, and we practiced some detailed dialogues.
Let's quickly recap the 3 most important phrases we learned today. These are your tools.
Number 1, the key phrase for asking someone out.
Do you want to? Remember, it's direct, simple, and functional.
Number 2, the key phrase for suggesting a place or a plan.
Let's go to. It's a friendly, confident way to lead the conversation.
And number 3, the key phrases for expressing feelings with the verb to be.
I am happy, or I am excited, or I'm nervous. Practice these to express yourself clearly.
Now, we have a challenge for you, our listener. This is your moment for output activation.
We want you to practice your English right now by creating one simple sentence about your ideal date. And we want you to say this sentence out loud.
Use the phrases and words we practiced. Keep it simple and clear.
For example, you might say, I like a movie, and I want to talk about it after.
Or maybe, let's go to the park at 3 p.m.
Go ahead. Say your own simple sentence now. This practice makes the language truly come alive in your mind.
And remember this final thought for your language journey.
Achieving fluency is an ongoing journey. It's a process of continuous learning and practice.
Please, do not wait for your grammar to be perfect before you speak.
No. Your priority should be speaking practice. Aim to be understandable.
Fluency will accelerate naturally once you start using the language in real life.
The ability to communicate and connect with new people is worth so much more than the fear you feel at the beginning.
If you enjoyed this slow, focused deep dive and feel more confident, please subscribe or share it with other English learners.
And we would love for you to leave a comment describing your ideal date using one simple English sentence. That's your first output assignment.
Thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive into beginner English. Keep practicing those simple phrases.
We wish you the best on your learning journey. Goodbye for now.